Forms of business organization. So what we're going to look at today is different ways in which you could, different legal structures in which you can start a business or have a business. And the first two are going to be very similar. I'm going to talk about them pretty much as one. And then, and what we really care about in this course is the corporation. So we're going to talk about these two particularly and how they relate to the corporation. And then going forward, we're only going to talk about corporations. So the idea of this, and I'm going to talk about the sole proprietorship and the partnership a little bit together. So the idea of this is, it's a business, right? If it's a sole proprietorship, there's just one owner. If there's a partnership, there's multiple owners. Also keep in mind, there's limited partnerships and different types of partnerships. I'm just going to talk about in general, because this is a course on corporations. So broadly speaking, this is a business which is owned by one or many people, right? And the big aspect of this is there's no distinction between the business and the individual. So business debts are individual debts, right? That's the big downside to this thing. So if I own a dry cleaning firm and the dry cleaning firm has a debt, then they can come get my car, right? My own personal car, right? Because there's no distinction here between the business and the owners, legal distinction. So that's a big downside, right? One upside to these things is they're pretty, because you're not setting up a separate entity, they're pretty easy to start up, right? So okay, there's a big downside, but they're also easy to start. So that's why most real small businesses tend to be a sole proprietorship or a partnership. However, back to downsides, one big downside is because the owner is a person or a group of people. If you're going to change the ownership of this, right, you have to create a new sole proprietorship. So I'll just sell everything to you and create a new sole proprietorship, or I have to have a new documents that will add a partner, so basically the life of this is the life of the sole proprietorship or the life of the group of people, right? So it's finitely lived and it's very hard to transfer ownership, right? So these are two really big downsides, and this is why most companies, once they get very large, once they get even moderately large, will shed a sole proprietorship or a partnership, right? So those are two big downsides. But again, they're simple. So how is a corporation different? So what a corporation does, first and foremost, is it separates. Well, I'll talk about the benefit of single taxation here. But so one thing to keep in mind, because there's no distinction between the business and the person, there's only a single, income is only taxed once, right? Because again, there's no two separate entities. So again, that's the benefit here that's going to be different in the corporation. So what a corporation does is it says, okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to separate the business from the owners so that they are two separate legal entities, right? So this gives you a huge benefit in terms of limited liability, right? So the idea here is, in a sole proprietorship and partnership, like I said, they can come get your car if business debts are your debts. But now, once I've separated the ownership and management, once I've separated the ownership from the actual corporate entity, then I, as an owner, am not liable for business debts. The business is liable for business debts, but they can't come back to the owner. So now, in other words, if I buy a stock and it defaults on its debt, they can't come get money from me as an equity holder. I can be wiped out as an equity holder, but they can't come and get I'm not liable for those debts. So that is a huge benefit to a corporation, right? So the idea here is, in your text it'll say unlimited liability to the owner, limited liability, and you can think of this is extremely important for certain companies and certain industries. It's always important, but is for certain companies and certain industries extraordinarily important. So now the idea of this is, so what a corporation looks like is we have the shareholders. The shareholders elect a board of directors who represents them, and the board of directors oversees the management. But we have this distinction, right? In a corporation. Now, so this has a really big benefit in terms of limited liability. However, there's some substantial cost. Let me talk about taxes first. So the idea here is, because you've set up two separate entities, Well, when income comes into the corporation, it's taxed, and when income goes to the shareholders, it's taxed. It's taxed twice. However, most of the times you'll see this in the news. It's kind of a biased view of it. I mean, they throw up their hands and go, "Can you believe there's double taxation?" Well, it makes perfect sense. You decided you could have single taxation in a partnership or sole proprietorship, but you said, I don't want unlimited liability. I want limited liability, so I'm going to separate the company from the owners, so it's taxed twice. So it's not surprising. It makes perfect sense. It's not to say you should drop the corporate tax rate to zero. I'm just saying it makes perfect sense that it's double taxed. You set up a separate entity. The other way to say this is, if you're saying, well, I don't want double taxation, you're having your cake and eating it too, right? So the idea is you're getting limited liability, but you're not paying anything for it, right? So it's not surprising. Once we look at it here, it's not surprising. The management oversees the real assets, right? So there's a separate. These are two entirely separate entities, so tax, right? Not surprising. One of the other big downsides to a corporation, once again you've separated the ownership from the management and the real assets, is we have this system where shareholders elect board of directors oversees management. So the question here is, does management act in shareholder interest? I'm going to talk about in a little bit, next video, about what the goal of management should be. But right here, just think about, because we've separated the ownership and the management in a corporation. Again, sole proprietorship is I operate and I own it. Partnership, I operate and I own it. Now what we've done here is we said, no, I own it, but I don't operate it, right? So the question here is, does management act in shareholder interest? Right? So this is going to be termed the agency problem. So there's a downside of the limited liability is we get double taxation, we get the agency problem where management does not act in shareholder interest. And management will never always act in shareholder interest, right? So there's always some sort of agency problem here. Back, however, to one of the big benefits of a corporation, right? And this is a huge benefit, along the lines of limited liability. Is one, because the sole proprietorship and the partnership are finitely lived, and there's no separation from the person and the business, it's very hard to get additional financing, and it's very hard to transfer ownership, right? So, this has, and this is going to, I'll show you, it'll have a real effect on the actual value of the business, right? Whereas in a corporation, because we've separated the ownership and the control and the operating of the asset, we've separated these two. I can own the company, and I don't need I own, let's say I buy AMD. I don't know anything about making chips, right? But I'm an owner of AMD, and the management will operate it for me. So what this means is you can get financing. You don't need to know how to operate the business to finance it. Does that make sense? So the idea here is, there's two levels to look at this. One, because I can transfer ownership easily, that increases the value of the business right there, right? So the idea is, just think of this: if you're gonna invest in a company, right, and you had to hold it for 10 years, right, or you can invest in the same business and you could sell it anytime you want, right? You would obviously pay more for the business in which you could sell it at any time. Even if there's the two same businesses, A and B, the same exact business. A, you have to buy and hold for 10 years. B, you can sell it any time. You're going to pay more for B, right? And that shows that the corporate, the business, the form of the business organization, that this corporate form in and of itself adds value to the business. Because you can buy and sell the companies, because we've separated these two, right? I'm here. I can just we can change who's here, right? Anyone can go in and just say, I'm an owner of this business, right? And then sell it the next day, right? So the idea here, that has a real and material effect on the value of the business. And this is where corporate finance starts to touch financial markets and institutions. You can really start seeing here that if you have good financial markets, good stock markets, good institutions that oversee, that make sure that these markets are fair, that increases the value of the business. And of course, you increase the value of the business can grow, it hires more people. So at the end of the day, good financial markets institutions, this corporate form can actually, increase economic growth, increase the value of the business. This business is higher, economic growth increases, right? So I want you to keep in mind this has a real material effect. Just being able to buy and sell quickly. And also, the big thing here is if I'm in a sole proprietorship or partnership, if I want additional financing, I have to find another person who's willing to be a manager of the business, right? So here, if I want to start a corporation, I can get financing from pretty much anyone, right? So right now, like I say, I can buy AMD even though I know nothing about it. So again, this also increases the value of the business. So that's why in conclusion here, going forward, we don't care about these. We only care about corporations, right? And I'll qualify that a little bit. One thing to keep in mind, as I've talked about here, is a corporation is nothing other than a legal entity, right? So different countries have different laws. So what we're going to talk about in this course is U.S. corporations. Corporations incorporated in the United States. Now, if you go over to Germany, you go over to Japan, you go to other countries, they have different legal systems, civil law, and their corporations are different. So one thing to keep in mind is nothing that I say here naturally transfers to a company in a different country, right? Different legal systems. Corporation is a legal entity, so it's defined differently. And even in fact, in some U.S. states, corporations can be defined a little bit differently. Like Vermont has a different laws for incorporation. Good. So now that said, U.S. corporations are some of the largest in the world, right? So even if you're in a different country, knowing what a U.S. corporation is and how they're structured and why they're structured the way they are is still quite important. So the next thing we're going to do here is now we know what a corporation is. Big benefit in terms of limited liability, but we have a double taxation. We'll talk about later, how to minimize taxes when we start talking about debt, tax shields, and so forth. So the next thing to do is say, okay, well, if shareholders are different than management, then shareholders are going to have to give a clear goal to management as to what to do. And so we'll look a little bit about what that goal should be and what happens if management doesn't follow that goal. Excellent.